Alright, for this exhibition match, we have Lightsworns versus True Draco Demise. Alright, fun stuff. On the left, we have Marcus of Team Dank Deals, and on the right, there's me on the purple side. Purple versus blue. And one deck, actually, I think both these decks are pretty budget. You know, when you play Yu-Gi-Oh!, it takes all sorts of battle damage, effect damage. At least this deck, you won't take as much financial damage. Okay, so starting off, I believe I am going first in this match. And True Draco Demise, best thing about this deck, I think the 4 skill drains. 1 copy of actual skill drain and 3 copies of the Monarch's Erupt. I am also teching a very fun card in here, which is Amano Iwato, which is basically like an Inspector Border. It's my way of dealing with hand traps, basically. But anyways, starting off with the set and the Dragonic Diagram, and I am very lucky not to get, well, I guess ashed or ogred on this point, because the diagram would have gotten, well, slaughtered or interrupted. But then again, Marcus is playing 60 card Lightsworn. He still has a ton of hand traps, so it was actually more in his favor to actually open with at least 1 hand trap than not opening with any. And I actually have been paying attention to recent trends. I think Effect Veiler against the Pendulum deck is quite effective. We've tested it out. We realized Ash isn't very good against that deck, especially because you can only stop one thing with Ash, and the rest of it is just mass spam. But, you know, that's a different match. Let's go back here. So, successfully popped, successfully searched, and I believe I'm just setting 3 cards. Set 3 past turn, 1 card in hand left. Now, if you guys know Lightsworn, opening Lone Fire Blossom means the engine gets going. It's a free Curious if it goes through. Now, I'm now contemplating whether or not I want to activate my back row. No, I am activating Monarch Stormforth. And now I am on the resolution of that Stormforth. I am actually using the True Draco Apocalypse to get myself a Tribute Summon of a Masterpiece. Now this is a Trap Monster Immune Masterpiece. Not exactly the best. As you know, most Lightsworn decks don't exactly run a ton of traps. In other words, he still has spells to take care of Masterpiece, which is quite easily just a Raigeki or perhaps a Kaiju Slumber. It's quite easy to actually get rid of this one. As long as he has it, he has it. Alright, so he's going to use the Charge of Light Brigade to give himself a nice search of that Raiden. I think at this point he is trying to dig for that. He's going to activate the... so it's a Foolish Burial. Tons of targets. He's playing Lightsworn Zombie, so... there's a ton of targets to throw into the graveyard, but right now, I think there's only 1 card that actually gets immediate activation. That would be Wolf. Actually, there's a second card too. Probably a Glow-Up Bulb. Too bad Dandelion's not available, because going to Lynx would be a very fun thing to do. But unfortunately, that card is now banned. So we are seeing a Glow-Up Bulb. Glow-Up Bulb will give you an additional mill too when you summon it out of the graveyard. Now, how is he going to deal with Masterpiece? Masterpiece, once it's on board, it is a very difficult thing to out. It doesn't seem like he has the Raigeki, so Masterpiece is still safe. In terms of ammo in the graveyard, there is 2 ammo. There's 2 continuous spells and traps in the grave. So we're going to see a mill. Wow, that was a really good mill. Milling a Wolf. Wolf gets summoned out onto the field. Level 1 and level 5. Sorry, well, 1 and level 4, making a Synchro 5 possibly. I don't think there's any point in that because it will just immediately get destroyed by Masterpiece's effect. I guess, you know, commentating my own game, I kind of can go through my own thought process of what I want to do. And I still have 1 back row, and I believe it is a very legitimate back row. It's been a couple days since I have actually recorded this game, so I can't quite remember everything that happened. And I'm kind of getting a fresh view on this this game as well. So we're going to see a Banish of Mizuki to summon out the Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. That's a very uncommon play, but now he has another tuner. He can get access to a Crystal Wing right now. Man, I can't speak right now. Crystal Wing is available. First going to Yeah, go into a 7 and then go into something else. So he's going to Black Rose because he's expecting a pop. But I'm going to chain the Monarch's Erupt. I do have a continuous... Sorry, not continuous. I do have a Tribute Summon monster on the field. Therefore, it is now live. That would basically negate the Black Rose from blowing up my field. If I did lose everything, dealing with a Masterpiece isn't exactly the most threatening thing. And he probably can go into a Crystal Wing right now. However, bear in mind that that Crystal Wing is negated when it comes out. So I can technically pop it. And I'm also stronger than that Crystal Wing. So realizing that there's no point in doing that, he is going to not continue. He does have a Soul Charge in hand as well. So perhaps he's waiting for his monsters to actually kind of get destroyed. And then he revive them all in one go and still go for a Crystal Wing in a later turn. So I'm going to give myself a nice pop, and then I'm going to add myself a True Draco's Heritage. And that actually refuels my ammo. Having the extra body will prevent him from actually getting OTK'd on my side, but it's actually very unlikely to OTK someone. It's more of like a high-pressure grindy deck when you play True Dracos now, especially with the skill drain. So we're going to see a pop on the Globe Bulb, set 1, and then we're going to swing into the Black Rose. Now remember, I am only trap immune, so... sorry, trap monster immune, so I am going to get the attack boost from the Dragonic Diagram. So he's going to go ahead and play that, I believe it's a Pot of Desires. Oh my god. He's going to banish 10. He is digging for the Raigeki right now. I don't think he's seen it yet. I think he saw, out of the 10 cards, Raigeki still wasn't there. Now, I don't exactly have any cards in my hand. I believe I have 0 at the moment, and he needs to build up a wall to not, well, take too much damage along the way, because that's going to put him on a really short life counter. So he's going to proceed to set 1 and pass. Now, I still have 2 ammo in the grave. As long as I can keep that diagram on the field, I will keep having more and more pops available for that Masterpiece. And since... yeah, I'm going to use the pop, and I used it during my own turn, and I popped the Spirit. The Spirit can be used to actually take out the Monarch's Erupt once it gets banished. Remember, it is a skill drain. It's only face-up monsters that are negated. So another swing goes through. He's down to 39 now. And now I activate Card of Demise in main phase 2. Remember... Card of Demise prevents further damage from happening, so if you activate it during a main phase 2, they would have taken the damage, and then you get to draw 3. Or up to 3. Now, note that you can't special summon once you use the Card of Demise. So activate another Heritage, now play another Pot of Duality this time. Oh my god, a Solemn Judgment. I think Solemn Judgment is actually going to seal the deal now. And then, as you can see, the other card is Amano Iwato. I don't think there's any point in using that card anymore, since Solemn Judgment is just so much better at actually stunning any big threat. So in other words, that Raigeki right now is not going to work anymore. I think a Kaiju is going to be a bit more effective at this point. Now, he does have a Snow in his hand, and that Snow can banish out the Shiranui, which would give him access to his monster effects once again. So I'm trying to play out my entire hand, burn off everything, because... oh, I tried to use my Dragonic Diagram, it gets ogred. Yeah, I have to play out my entire hand because I did use a card Demise. I have to discard my entire hand in the end phase. Now, what can Marcus be actually looking for now? Now there's a ton of, like... well, he's basically under lethal threat right away. So I'm just going to activate everything. So now he's going to activate a second Pot of Desires, going for that dig. And to his reaction, his Raigeki is still available. Is it the next 2 cards that he draws? Because if he gets that, the only thing I can really get back is fetch out I guess a spell using, what's his face? Ignis. I keep forgetting his name. So he's going to set 1. Oh, that is unfortunate. And it gets popped. He's running really low on life, so that Soul Charge in hand isn't going to be as useful coming up. So if I go into battle phase and swing with this, it is 2950 to this one. I believe is another 24. Oh, so another Draconic diagram has been played. The attack boost is back, and the popping is not happening. Ash Blossom Joy Spring. I'm going to attack with Ignis. So he is going to activate the Snow from Hand. Oh, sorry, is that Snow from Grave? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Taking away the Shiranui. So the chain links here actually work as follows. He can actually, because they're both optional triggers, he can actually put the chain links in whatever way he wants. And there's a specific order that he wants it, because he actually can take away the attack as well by putting the chain link of Fairy Tail Snow as chain link 1 and putting Spirit Master as chain link 2. 2 pops the Monarch's Erupt, and then since he targeted my monster, my Ignis will flip phase down. Of course, it cannot be affected by Masterpiece, so nothing much you can do about that. But of course, he did activate an effect, so I can activate Ignis to actually search another spell, continuous spell of True Draco or True King. So right now we're just debating on... Wait, let's just read the rules, whether it's optional or not. Because if it is optional, or depending if it's optional or mandatory, it would change up the chain link. Because if Spirit Master was mandatory, then it would have been enforced to chain link 1, but that is not the case. And I believe what's going to happen here is my Monarch's Erupt has been targeted, and it will pop, and then I will actually get my Ignis face down. But right now, I am just searching for one of my True Draco spells. And Ignis goes down. So in other words, he gets to survive for the turn, because I don't think I can actually output 3,900 worth of damage. But that does give me a little bit of extra ammo, because I can banish any continuous spells and trap to actually use Masterpiece to pop. So that swing puts him down to 650. I am swinging for 3,250. So Masterpiece holding the board. Man, the interruption from that beginning play really set Marcus far behind, like way too far behind if you ask me. Because the Lone Fire didn't go through, that means he did not get to the Curious play. Once he gets to the Curious play, there's a ton of advantage. He gets to set up a lot. Now it's time to draw the Raigeki. No, he did not get Raigeki. And he's going to go with the Goblinberg. He's aiming for the survival. If he can actually survive this, put a bunch of monsters on board, and hope to, well, basically not get slaughtered. He needs to put at least 4 monsters onto the field. Now Soul Charge is a bit too late, but I am not letting him go into anything, because if he actually can Synchro into a level 8, I'm not sure if I have all the answers for that. I don't know what he runs in his extra deck, to be honest. There could be an Omega, but Omega is not good enough at this point. See, the reason why Marcus did not want that diagram to stay alive ever, aside from the constant ammo, is that if a second Masterpiece happens, that is it. There is almost no comeback from that, because 2 pops return. Yeah, there's going to be scoop phase at this point, so I take game 1. Unfortunately for Marcus, he got interrupted by a Stormforth. That's why Stormforth is at 1. Because that Stormforth take away the Lone Fire and make myself a Masterpiece, that was pretty brutal. And, of course, a Solemn Judgment is still in the back row, basically sealing the game. But, okay, now we move on to game 2. So game 2, I believe Marcus is now the one in control. He is going to be going first. It's going to be a pretty interesting match. These, of course, are the top few decks of the current format based off of tournament results. I believe True Draco won at one of the events. One of the regional events. Okay, anyways, Marcus starts off with a Pot of Desires, bashing 10 cards and digging 2 cards. Wow, he's actually playing pretty greedy right now. Now, his deck runs only 1 Darlingtonia Cobra, and he did not mill it. He is going in. He wants the maximum advantage. It's very dangerous, because if he actually mill out that Darlingtonia Cobra, all those Orpha Scorpios are basically dead. And unfortunately to him, I believe he actually milled all his Lightsworns, forcing him to add a wolf. Oh my god, that does not look like a good start for Marcus. Is this going to be a 2-0 situation where just an unlucky Desires just kills the deck? So he's going to go with Solar Recharge. He is going to proceed to mill 2 cards and draw 2 cards, and he mills another wolf. Oh my god, he does successfully get a wolf out here. So that is a pretty good start. That is a big plus right there. It's a +1. And then we're going to see a Goblinberg. Goblinberg special summons out a Uni-Zombie. Ooh, very neat, very neat. This is kind of different from what I expected. Alright, so he's going to use Uni-Zombie's effect to send 1 zombie into the grave. It's going to be a Mizuki. Does he actually have a target for Mizuki to actually revive? He does. I believe he has a Ash Blossom Joyous Ring. So now it is a level 4 tuner monster now. So I'm going to proceed to go into Omega. And remember, it has to go to the extra monster zone. And, okay, effect, roll. Rolls a 2, takes out the second card. Takes out the Pot of Duality. And so, options are getting limited on my side. And he's going to proceed to use Mizuki to revive it. And he's going to ditch... Oh, no, he's not ditching. He's actually using Perform Mage. I can't remember what's his name of this one. Hat Trigger? I believe that's Hat Trigger. And he sent Snow into the graveyard, I believe. And he's going to synchro into another second Omega. And he's going to take out... Oh my god, another option card. The extenders are all gone right now, with the Pot of Desire and Pot of Duality. Twin Pots all gone till the next standby phase, and Snow is coming out. Oh, I believe he is actually going to go into Minerva now. Yeah, proceeding to mill. So, next turn, 2 Omegas coming back, and mill the Mizuki and a Solitaire. Oh my god, that is another Omega play if he really wants to go there, or it's perhaps another Synchro 8 play available. Pass his turn. I draw. In my hand, it is actually quite slow. I have Waterfalls, a Maiden, and I don't think I can actually... Oh, a Dragonic Diagram. Okay, Diagram can actually go through. If once Diagram goes through, there could be more plays, especially when Maiden is already in hand. Activate. Ash Blossom Joyous Spring has been chained, and basically I'm forced to set 1. Pass turn. There is nothing I can do. There is nothing I can tribute summon for. And because the Waterfall of Dragon Souls is not, well, a continuous spell or trap, it's not going to be able to be a tribute fodder. So we're going to see a triple mill right there. Yeah, those 2 things that he sniped off of my hand, ridiculously good. It basically shut my entire play down. Chain! He's gonna go into the battle phase, and I'm gonna chain the Waterfall. I'm gonna ditch 2 to draw 3. Oh man, looking at what I could have gotten that other next turn, oh, that feels horrible. Yeah, instant game, because that is lethal damage right there. I guess you got a quick redemption match right there. Alright, we're gonna go into game 3. Marcus is going first in the game 3. So he starts off with a Lone Fire, no response. Remember, my deck does not run any hand traps. So, yeah, he's going all the way. There's no stopping on this one.
It's much easier. We're not tied by a battery.
So, Orpha Scorpio has to ditch a monster. And now he's going to get his Darling Tonia Cobra, and that's going to fetch him the Brilliant Fusion. This is a basic combo that all you Brilliant players should learn because it is very, very useful. If you don't know this combo, you're at a serious disadvantage. Oop! Flip the little Pot of Desires right there. That's why you don't really shuffle your hand constantly. That's the kind of mistake you don't want to make. Especially when your opponent has Ash, they'll save it for that now. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah. Alright, so now he's going to go into the Mrs. Radiant with the 2 Earth monsters from the MX Saber Invoker. Now he's going to activate the Brilliant Fusion, ditching, I believe, a Trick Clown and a Garnet. And because the Thousand Blade is already in the graveyard, that gives you another Earth monster to work with to go into that Curious. So this is, I guess, a pretty good demo. Now I don't have to do a demo video, right, guys? Alright, so there's that piece. Now remember, this deck also runs Goblinberg as additional Earth-based warriors so that you don't have to burn off every single card. Remember, there's that additional summon. And Marcus is going for the dig more cards play. Okay. So he's going to dig more cards so that he can actually get that normal summon. Because if you actually don't have the normal summon, you might have wasted Seraphonite's effect. I'm expecting right now to get my hand ripped apart. So those 3 are going in for sure. And you're guaranteed to basically throw anything you need into the graveyard. Because Curious, of course, well, you get to Foolish Barrel any card into the graveyard. And if it is destroyed or while in your own possession, I believe, or just remove from field, you get to add a card from the graveyard back to your hand. It could be any card. And it has a mandatory effect of whenever something gets sent to the graveyard, you have to mill. And we're gonna see ourselves a Snow, probably going into a Minerva. Yeah, my hands are getting ripped apart. I don't think there is an Omega play right now, based on what I see. So here we go. Now remember that Curious does point forward as well, so if you need extra zones, oh boy, that is not good. Okay, so basically he milled an Omega into the graveyard. He has an Omega play right away, so this is not looking good for me. So he's gonna banish the Mizuki to summon out the Uni-Zombie. And he is gonna go get himself the Mizuki into the graveyard to boost his own level. And then he's going to banish the Mizuki to summon out the Solitaire. And then he's going to synchro those 2 into the Omega. Omega, roll the die. Takes out the first card. Takes out the Draconic Diagram. So again, I'm getting Omega sniped, losing my options here. Behind that Minerva, there's a Trick Clown. Lots of graveyard effects. If I try to remove this board, I might be giving him a ton of pops. Additional cards times 2. With 5 cards in hand, oh, this is interesting here. Normal summon the Spirit Monster Amano Iwato. Think of it as Inspector Border, except only Spirit Monsters can activate effects. Basically, we're both under Majesty's Fiend. So this way, it eats up all the hand traps. All hand traps are now basically useless because you can't stop anything. And this is actually a very good card to stop all forms of, well, hand trap interruption. You're not going to get Ash on your Pot of Desires. You're not going to get Ogred on your Draconic Diagram. Basically, everyone's kind of stuck on the playing field. And for me, I can get rid of it by tribute summoning using spell effects. So now I'm going to play Desires. There's no Ash for sure. Unless, of course, Ash Blossom Joyous Spring is somehow a spirit monster, which is impossible. To me, this is like your opponent has 5 back row and you just summoned out a Denko Sekka to ruin their day. So even though I was at 5 cards, this card basically opened everything up. And not to mention, if his monsters get destroyed now, no effects on any of those. Activate Pot of Duality. So every single pot, oh my god, every single card to draw and dig. Man, I feel like I've just changed my occupation here. I might as well be a miner because I am mining through every single card I need in this deck. This is literally trying to make the perfect hand. I think the best option is to get the card Demise. There's 2 of those. It's time to go for it. You get more cards. The hand can be played out. I do have 2 monsters in hand, so I'm trying to maximize my draws, but it seems to be a bit difficult because I did use one of my normal summons already for the Amano. Oh, Draconic Diagram. Even though one was banished, I think I fetched enough to actually dig one out. That is True Draco's... Sorry, True King's Return. Remember, that's only at one copy, so I gotta be very careful whether or not I want to get rid of it. I am getting rid of it, so I'm popping my Return for another summon. Perhaps even a... I guess it's perhaps even an additional draw, really. A draw and a summon, really. And since Amano's on the field, there is no milling of Minerva. Therefore, it won't trigger off Curious either, and the Tricklon stays dead. I get a 1-card draw from this, because I've only sent one True King card to the graveyard so far. Yeah, draw 1. I still have Demise. Set 1. So, Tribute Summon for the Tribute Summon effect. I can get one additional Tribute Summon if I can actually dig into the True Draco Phoenix spell card. So I'm going to go with, what's her face? The Maiden. I forgot her name already. So with the attack boost, I am stronger than Curious by 200 attack points. And no effect, and swing for 19. Activate card of Demise in the main phase 2, draw 2 cards. I probably will have to discard 1 card at the very least. Set 1, 2, end phase. I guess this is an end phase. Use Demise first, then I'll return the monster to hand, so I don't have to lose my Amano. So he activates his charge. I chain my Maiden. Maiden to add a Masterpiece. This is kind of interesting. He went full wombo combo, basically. Hold on. There's actually one thing. There's a bit of a misstep here. The Omega needs to come back, and the Draconic Diagram needs to go back to my hand. I think... I do remember us correcting this in a short moment, so it is going to happen. So don't you guys worry about it. It doesn't really actually change the outcome at the moment. And there's no interruption. So yeah, this is the... We're just fixing up the game state. It's... If this was a tournament situation, both of us would have gotten a warning on this. Because procedural error. But it has very low impact on the game and doesn't change anything, really. So with Omega on the field, he could technically try to run over the Maiden. So recharge, he did recharge, throwing the Wolf away to get the additional mill, so he's going to go into a Lila. Lila effect. So the effect puts her into defense mode. She can't go into defense mode if I chain the Monarch's Erupt. Monarch's Erupt basically is putting him under skill drain, and that actually turns off his Omega. He can chain his Omega to actually rip a card out of my hand if he so chooses. But then he would actually lose option to actually deal damage or attempt to run over the Maiden. But on top of the Maiden, he actually has to get rid of the Draconic Diagram as well, because I can take 2 hits. I believe he's going to go into a Snow play. He's banishing his Trick Clown. Oh, it's a BLS. It's Light in the Dark. That is a big board. So he definitely has enough to actually run over that Maiden right now. Now, BLS cannot activate his effect because, well, Erupt's still on the field and it's not a Tribute Summon monster, but he can definitely just ram it, and he actually doesn't get the double attack either. Remember, if the Maiden is removed from the field, the card stays face up until the end phase, where it checks again and then sends itself to the graveyard. So I survive the hit, I take the hit, I am at 26 to his 3k, so I take 400, and then I take another 200 from this one right here. And now I take another 17. Oh my god. Continuing into the battle phase, there's even more cards being summoned. Oh, I could potentially get OTK. So now I'm going to take another 1850 from the snow, putting me down to 3850. Now he's going to attempt to use snow again. Remember, it's not that I have no monsters on the field that kind of stuns it. It's just that it was able to stay active for the turn. You just need to control a tribute summon monster to actually activate the card, and while it's still face up, it stays active and it still negates all non-tribute summon monsters. But during the end phase, during each player's end phase, it will check whether or not I control a tribute summon monster still, and if not, send itself to the graveyard. So that's why the Lila, well, pop any of my other cards. He's going to go into a rank 4. He can go to Baguska to stun my summons. Nope, going to a Minerva. Going to get additional mills. I guess putting that snow back into the graveyard is potentially quite crucial. Minerva could not mill cards. I'm going to draw for turn. That's a big board, and it's quite lethal if this is not handled properly. Especially with the BLS on the field, it can just mean like banish, and the other cards can just spring for game. Now remember, Monarchs require you to have no extra deck cards, so this is why this deck is so budget. It's just Masterpiece. What, Masterpieces are what, like $10 each? Diagrams are, sure, diagrams are a little bit pricey, but no extra deck, no Ash, no hand traps. You can still handle this pretty well. I guess Demise is still there too. So normal summon the Amano just so that I can take away all the effects, so I don't have to deal with Omega ripping a card out of my hand now. That's the only reason why it was summoned. And perhaps to take care of hand traps too. Now I can actually activate the diagram without too much to worry about. And remember, Dragonic Diagram does not target cards. So I'm going to chain Waterfall of Dragon Souls to get myself a search, and then I'm going to pop it with the Dragonic Diagram, basically giving me a double search with one card, which is very, very useful. So Waterfall is going to get me the Maiden, and I'm going to pop it off to get myself, I believe, a spell or trap, because why else would I need it? So we get ourselves a True Draco Phoenix Disciple. Now, I don't have effects either while Mono's on the field. That's going to be a bit difficult. Am I going to set a card? So set one face down. Oh, that's what I was going for. I was going to go for the double Dragonic Diagram play. So I got to pop the far card near my deck, as that's the actual Draco Phoenix, to search another Draco Phoenix. And now activate that. I believe this is going to be a tribute summon. So a spell monster immune Masterpiece. And with the Amano removed from the field, I guess all effects are live once again. This gives me the option to pop off that BLS, because I am actually not stronger than that BLS, so it needs to die now. A funny thought would be, Marcus, activate Zombie World, Mizuki, revive BLS. Those are some... That would be, you know what, if I lose to that, then that's how it is gonna be. I accept my defeat. So I go ahead and swing. Minerva. Oh, hits a wolf, gets a free summon and a free pop. Oh my god. He pops Imperial Order. So one of the shutdown cards has been taken away. So that's good news for Marcus. All he needs now is a Kaiju just to take care of Masterpiece in his all good game. Now, Marcus, I believe he only has 2 cards left in his deck. That's not a lot of options to take care of a masterpiece that's spell monster immune. Omega's not strong enough. You need to make a borrow load. If you can't make a borrow load now and just run it over, you're pretty screwed. If the back row is any form of negation, skill drain, or Monarch's Erupt, then it's basically settled, because then I can actually target the borrow load. Oh boy. The grave is just full of ammo. There's no way he can actually stop the pop effect.
No monster effects. Yeah, no monster effects. You can't play the game. I can't play this game. I actually can't.
Marcus is checking all his options. This is quite desperate. He's just doesn't have, as a 60 card deck, you've burned out quite a bit. No, it's a Monarch. Yeah, it's a Monarch Erupt, and there's the scoop phase right there. Oh man, masterpiece just holding it. That's why this deck is so strong, because like I guess against many other decks it's just very difficult to deal with. So in terms of how this matchup went up, masterpiece was just too good. There was a couple of unlucky mills, couldn't get into the kaijus, and a mono Yuan was turning off hand traps, giving a free turn. So that's the reasons of, well, the basic summary of this match. Special thanks to my patrons. I am actually testing a new layout right now, a new tech in terms of streaming equipment, because technically that entire match could have been live streamed. I'm just setting up my equipment, I'm just doing a live recording instead, but special thanks to you guys, because it's really been really helpful on helping me improve the video quality, helping me improve on what I'm able to do on this channel. So, you know, special thanks to you guys. Shoutouts to Dank Deals. Go check out Dank Deals at Facebook Dank Deals. If you guys want the best deals, get Dank Deals Yu-Gi-Oh! And also, as for my mat, that is the MST exclusive Mystic Era from Imperium Duelist. If you guys enjoyed that video, hit me up with a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe button. And as always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.